This is David Merrill. I've written several posts in the past about companies that I've had dealings with, a review of those companies, but they're not really reviews of the companies because for the purpose of my blog, I like to see what companies are doing in real world businesses from time to time and relate it to online marketing. And recently I've had dealings with a company named First Niagara. It's a bank in New York State. And here's what happened. Little story. I do online banking with them, and I was doing some online banking with my accounts, and what I typically do was to transfer funds to cover bills that I paid at the time that I did it. So, and I've been doing this for, I don't know, probably a couple years with First Niagara. So I was on my online banking account last month, and I paid some bills, and then I went and I transferred funds from one account to another to cover it. And when you look at it, it says that the funds transfer immediately, as they always do. A couple weeks later, I was online and I noticed that I had charges, a bunch of overdraft charges, and I couldn't figure out why until I realized that they were charging me because the bills that I had paid at that time were not covered because the transfer of funds didn't go through immediately. And yet, the bills that I paid were paid immediately. So that was the problem. I contacted customer service, and here's how they serviced me. They told me that it's not bank policy to refund those service fees, which is what I was looking for, because there were about 6 of them for about $40 each, so it was close to $250 in service fees. And they said it wasn't the bank's policy to refund any of those service fees unless it was clearly the bank's fault. They said in this case it was not the bank's fault because when I made the transfer, it was after normal business hours. I probably was paying my bills at 1 o'clock in the morning or something because I tend to work late. And I told them, I said, well, I've been doing this for forever. I always pay my bills late. I don't do it in the middle of the day. I have too many other things to do. And yet the transfers have always covered it. And they said, well, they don't know about that, but it's clearly not the bank's problem. It's not the bank's fault. It was my fault because I didn't know that the transfers didn't go through immediately, which is a little strange to begin with, because if the bank is closed and they can't take my transfer, then why can they process payments out of my account during those hours? The bank has its position and its policy. As a consumer, I have my point of view and my perspective. And I was just thinking, Donna wrote a blog post recently, I think just a few days ago. It was called Awesome Authority. And Awesome Authority basically said, the way to really have a good customer is to show them that you really do care and that you're there to help them every step of the way and that you're not just in the game for yourself. And it kind of struck me because after dealing with a customer service rep, I realized, and by the way, they did give me some credit toward it, but not full credit. I think they gave me half credit or something toward it because I called and complained. Otherwise, they never would have. But I thought, customer service, a big company like First Niagara, maybe they don't care about little people, but they should. And the story for online marketers that I want you to really get from this, because it's not really about a review of First Niagara, it's about the lesson that I can give you online marketers. When you're doing business, always put the customer first. If you're wrong as the company, don't cite company policy as a reason that you're not going to bend. If it's not your policy to give a refund on the 31st day, and the person calls you on the 31st day asking for a refund, and you say, no, we have a 30-day guarantee, and we're therefore not refunding you, that's not good business. If the person says, well, I bought this thing and it wasn't really what I expected, and you could say, well, you bought it. I don't care. It's not what you expected. The point is that you bend over backwards to do a good job for the customer. You want to make sure that the customer appreciates you. They don't just see you as an authority. A bank is obviously an authority, but they're not. This particular bank, anyway, First Niagara, certainly didn't show that they were taking any strides in the direction of becoming awesomely authoritative. That is, they didn't want to be an awesome authority by going the extra mile and say, it wasn't our fault, but we understand your position, and we're going to give you, since you've been doing this for a couple years and it's never happened before, we're going to give you a credit for this. And, we hope you do understand now. And you can even take the high road and say, I'm sorry we didn't make that clear. And in fact, they didn't make it very clear. Banks are notorious for small print. As an online marketer, don't be notorious for small print. Don't cite people, sorry, that's your tough luck kind of attitude. And that's exactly the attitude I got from First Niagara Bank. And I guess people expect that from banks. They certainly don't expect it from online marketers. And if that's what they get from you, they're not going to be staying with you very long. They're not going to be buying your products and services. They won't be reading your blog. And most importantly, they're not going to be talking to other people about you. And this pertains, of course, to the situation within First Niagara Bank. If somebody were to ask me today, gee, what do you think of First Niagara Bank? I was going to open an account too. I'd say, I would tell them this story. You don't want people talking about you as an online marketer or as an affiliate marketer, as a representative for a business opportunity company. You don't want people to start saying that person is hard-nosed. They may be right sometimes, but they are hard-nosed and they're not going to bend over and understand your situation as a human being. What that says is they don't see me as a human being. I'm sure the same person that told me bank policy would not have told her mother that, or her sister. She would have most likely said, oh, look, Mom, I understand you made a problem. I'll take care of it for you. But she wasn't going to do that for me because she didn't see me as that important. She didn't see me as part of her family, as an insider. So make everybody feel like they're part of your family. Make them feel like they're an insider, and they will love you for it, and it will establish for you some of that awesome authority that Donna wrote about.